Hey everyone, here's another story time. I've been watching a lot of motivational series and a lot of inspirational videos. I ran into Oprah and I noticed that in some of her talk, she talks a lot about purpose and calling.
Definition for me. Vulnerability is
being willing to express the truth, no matter what. The truth of who you are, the essence at your core of what you're feeling in any given moment. It's being able to open up your soul and let it flow so that other people can see their soul in yours.
And I've been reflecting a lot recently on my own purpose and my own calling. And I thought that that'd be somewhere where I'd be a little bit vulnerable and talk about how it's scary to follow your purpose and your calling, and that one sometimes does not know what their purpose and calling is, and so they're just going through the phases of life. But yeah, as I mentioned in some of my other videos, I noticed the pattern in the courses that I was taking. A lot of the narratives that have been told in science about environmental degradation, about nations of color, about ancestral knowledge have been crafted not in a very positive light. And so I set out when I applied to graduate school to pursue that, to create space where there has not been any space. I was the only Black student in my program of 80 graduate students. That's like 1.5% of the students in the program were Black. And I could count the Latinx students in my program on one hand. What's going on here, geology? Why is it that we can't recruit a student base that reflects our nation? What is it about the ways in which we've constructed the field, the major, our recruitment process, or the lack thereof, that privileges certain folks over others? It was scary for me to ask those questions. I also find myself becoming an advocate outside of the confines of the laboratory and outside of the confines of the classroom space. So if there was a committee on diversity, inclusion, or equity on campus, I was on it. Toward the end of my time there, I was a part of a team of people who put together a class called Diversity in Geosciences. And it was discussion based. And we sat there week after week with first and second year graduate students, and we talked about the data, we talked about our experiences, we had uncomfortable conversations. Stuff hit the fan and people messed up. We sat down and we talked about the things we went through. We talked about the microaggressions. We talked about the macroaggressions. We talked about the lack of collective responsibility in the community when things like that happened, and the need for a more intentional construction of a program that would foster an environment that was inclusive. We talked about those things. And I think that was the first time that had ever happened in my program, and that happened because of the experiences that I had been having about moving to a new place and feeling like I didn't belong and being told that I didn't belong in multiple ways. But talking about purpose, right? So when I was going through it, it was painful. But if I hadn't gone through it, the growth that happened for me personally, for others around me who were exposed to new information that they hadn't been exposed to before, all of those things wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for my pain. And I feel like I was walking in my purpose the whole time, even at times when I felt like I was in the wrong place and I didn't belong there. So I'm gonna have to make a part 2 about this because the story doesn't end there,